In the heart of the Indonesian highlands, hidden beyond the reach of maps and cell signals, there was a village untouched by time. The locals spoke in whispers of an ancient ritual called Tari Arwah, the dance of spirits. Most had only heard about it through tales passed down by trembling grandparents, stories meant to keep children indoors after dark. They said that once every few decades, when the veil between worlds thinned, a villager could summon 99 spirits to grant a single request. But the price was something no one dared to speak aloud. Lina, a cultural anthropology student from Jakarta, was always drawn to the shadowy side of history. Where others saw superstition, she saw mystery. Where they saw danger, she felt an unexplainable pull. That's why, after reading a near-illegible manuscript at her university library referencing Tari Arwah, she made it her mission to uncover the truth. Not out of disbelief, but curiosity. A dangerous kind of curiosity. With only a leather-bound notebook, a camera, and the blessings of an overly trusting professor, Lina traveled deep into the interior of Kalimantan. She was warned at every bus stop and roadside stall, "Don't go there. That place is cursed. The spirits don't forget." But the warnings only fed her hunger for discovery. After 2 days of navigating dirt roads and fog-soaked cliffs, she arrived at Desa Purnama, a name that means village of the full moon. It was quiet, almost unnaturally so. Children didn't play in the fields. No animals roamed. The air was thick with something unseen, yet undeniably present. She was greeted not with hospitality, but suspicion. Elders kept their distance, muttering in a dialect she barely understood. One woman spat in the dirt as Lina passed by. Still, she found a small guest hut and managed to secure lodging with the help of a translator app and broken bahasa. That night, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the forest became a mass of ink-black shadows, Lina saw it, movement near the edge of the village. Figures cloaked in crimson robes, moving in perfect unison to the rhythm of drums that beat without a source. The hair on her arms stood on end. The dance was real. And whether they liked it or not, the villagers were still practicing Tari Arwah. The next morning, Lina woke to the sound of soft chanting drifting in through the cracks of her hut. It wasn't rhythmic like music, but more like the endless murmurs of a crowded room, only no one was outside. The village was silent, as if the entire place had held its breath. When she stepped outside, the old woman who ran the guest hut handed her a small bowl of rice and a piece of salted fish, avoiding eye contact. Before Lina could thank her, the woman whispered, "Don't look at them again." Lina froze. "Them?" she asked, but the woman had already shut the door behind her. Determined, Lina returned to the forest's edge where she'd seen the dancers. The clearing was empty now, the ground undisturbed. No footprints, no signs of fire, no drums. It was as if the dance never happened. But she had seen it. She was sure of it. Back in her hut, she reviewed the footage from her camera. That's when the chill crept into her bones. The memory card showed everything, her arrival, the village, her notes, but nothing from the night before. The final file ended just before sundown. After that, pure black. No errors. Just, missing. Lina's instincts told her this wasn't a coincidence. Someone didn't want the dance to be seen. That evening, she wandered into the center of the village where a shrine stood beneath a banyan tree. Old offerings of dried fruit and crumbling incense crowded the altar. A wooden sign, cracked and faded, read in old script, "Do not awaken what sleeps with favors." She was about to take a photo when a voice startled her. "You shouldn't be here." It was a boy, no older than 10, standing barefoot behind her. He had pale skin, wide eyes, and a calmness that didn't match his age. "I'm sorry," Lina said. "I'm studying rituals. I saw something last night." "The dance." He cut her off. "They saw you too." A cold wind passed through the square. "Who are they?" she asked, her voice shaking. "The ones beneath the hill," he whispered. "The 99 spirits. They've been waiting for someone to notice. And now they know your name." The boy turned and walked away, disappearing between two huts like smoke in the wind. Lina stood frozen, her breath visible even in the tropical night air. She looked back at the shrine and noticed something new, her name, Lina, carved into the wood in fresh strokes, that hadn't been there before. That night, sleep didn't come easily. Every time Lina closed her eyes, she saw flashes of crimson cloth fluttering in the dark, faces with hollow eyes, and the soft echo of drums beating deep underground. At exactly 3:03 a.m., she woke with a start, not because of a sound, but because of the absence of it. No crickets. No wind. Not even her own breath. The silence was absolute. Then, it began. A knock. Gentle. Precise. 3 times on her door. She approached slowly, every muscle tight with fear. Through the slit in the bamboo wall, she saw nothing outside. But when she opened the door, a folded piece of parchment lay on the ground. She unwrapped it carefully. The message inside was written in ink that shimmered faintly under the moonlight. You have seen. You must now choose. Speak a desire aloud before midnight tomorrow. But beware, each spirit answers once. And always takes back what was borrowed. There was no signature, no markings, just that cryptic demand. Lina didn't know what to believe. Was this a prank? A test from the villagers? Or, was the ritual real? The next day, she roamed the village, seeking answers. But doors closed as she passed. People avoided her eyes. It was as though she no longer belonged in their world, or perhaps she'd entered another one. In the forest, she found the boy again. He stood beside a tree with a twisted trunk and roots like grasping fingers. You got the note, he said without turning. Lina nodded. Who wrote it? They did, he replied. The spirits. They've already chosen you. I didn't ask for anything, she snapped, her voice rising. I don't want this. You looked, he said, finally turning to her. That's enough. Now they'll listen. Lina hesitated. Is it true, they grant wishes? The boy's eyes narrowed. Yes. But each one demands something in return. Sometimes time, sometimes memory, sometimes pieces of you. A cold sweat formed on her brow. But what if I don't ask for anything? They'll still take something, he said. Unless you ask wisely. And then he walked away again, leaving her alone with the trees, in the decision. That night, Lina sat beside the shrine, heart pounding. She stared at the parchment again, clutched tight in her hands. The moon was rising. Midnight was coming. And somewhere beneath her feet, the 99 spirits were listening. Lina sat cross-legged beneath the banyan tree, heart racing, eyes darting between the moon and the ground. Midnight approached. Her phone had long lost signal, but the screen showed 11:57 p.m. The parchment trembled in her hands, as if it too feared what was coming. All her instincts screamed to run, to pack her things and leave the village behind. But a deeper part of her, the same part that had brought her here, held her in place. Curiosity. Hunger. And perhaps, a quiet desperation. Lina closed her eyes. I want to know the truth behind Tari Arwah, she whispered aloud, voice barely audible over the rustling trees. I want to see what no outsider has ever seen. The moment the words left her lips, the forest changed. The wind stopped. The air thickened. And then, the ground beneath her pulsed once, like a heartbeat. From somewhere below, a voice rose. It wasn't a sound exactly, more like a feeling pressed into her mind. Cold, ancient, impatient. You have summoned the first. Lina's breath caught in her throat. To see the hidden, you must lose the seen. What do you mean? She asked aloud, standing slowly. But no answer came. Only a single whisper, echoing softly inside her head. Your sight will no longer serve the living. Suddenly, her vision blurred. The trees twisted unnaturally, the shadows shifted, and the village around her looked wrong. Buildings now leaned in unnatural angles, and the once blue sky had dimmed to a sickly shade of violet. She blinked, rubbed her eyes, but nothing changed. She wasn't blind, but the world she saw now had changed. As if she were seeing through a layer that wasn't meant for the living. Figures moved at the edge of her vision. Tall, slender silhouettes gliding silently behind trees and huts. Faces without features. Limbs that didn't bend like they should. They were everywhere now. The 99 had awakened. And Lina had just opened the first door. The village no longer looked the same. Where once were rice fields and wooden homes, Lina now saw ruins, collapsed structures covered in moss, twisted trees growing from rooftops, and walls etched with symbols that pulsed with a dull red glow. She wasn't in another place, she was in another layer of the same one. The villagers, or what remained of them, passed her without a glance. Their skin was pale, their eyes hollow, their feet hovering inches above the ground. They moved in silence, like memories trapped in an endless loop. Lina stumbled through the village, calling out, but her voice echoed strangely, swallowed by the air. Her sight, the gift from the first spirit, had cursed her with perception no human should possess. She could now see what others were blind to, and it was horrifying. Near the center of the village, where the banyan tree once stood, there was now a vast pit. Wide. Bottomless. Breathing. A mist rose from its depths, whispering 1,000 voices in languages Lina didn't understand. But one phrase repeated, again and again, in her native tongue. Choose. Again. Choose. Again. Lina stepped back, heart pounding. I already made my wish, she shouted into the void. You gave me what I asked for. A voice responded, gentle, feminine, yet ancient. One wish. One spirit. There are 98 more. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, draped in fabric that seemed to ripple like liquid. Her face was a mask, carved from bone, with tears etched into it. I am the second. Lina backed away. I didn't call you. But you are seen. You are marked. The spirit raised her hand. In it, she held a delicate golden thread. It shimmered in the darkness like moonlight on water. Each spirit offers a gift. A truth. A power. A burden. Accept, or vanish as the others did. Lina hesitated. Her mind screamed no. But the hunger to know, to go deeper, was louder. What do you offer? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. To walk among us, without fear. Before Lina could react, the thread unraveled, and wrapped itself around her wrist. The sensation was ice and fire at once, rushing through her veins. In an instant, the faceless spirits that once stalked her, now turned to her and bowed. She was no longer prey. She had become part of them. And yet, deep inside her, she felt something cracking, a part of her soul, separating. 2 spirits down. 97 to go. And the night had only just begun. Lina wandered the altered village like a ghost among ghosts. Wherever she stepped, the shadows parted. Spirits bowed. The whispers no longer spoke to her, they spoke through her. She was changing. Her hands trembled, but not from fear. It was something deeper. A fracture forming in her being. A sense of slipping, of forgetting who she once was. The names, the dates, her life in Jakarta, her professor's face, all fading, like fog under sunlight. And the spirits waited. She had called upon 2, and in doing so, had opened herself to the rest. Each spirit with its own voice, its own hunger, its own price. And yet, none had taken her life. Not in the way she'd feared. They were taking something more valuable, her identity. But it wasn't too late, not yet. Lina fled to the edge of the forest, where the real world felt closer. The trees no longer whispered. The wind had returned. For a moment, she believed she could leave. That if she just ran, now, she could outrun what she had become. But when she looked down, her reflection in a puddle of rainwater didn't match. It blinked slower. Its smile came late. Its eyes were hollow. That's when she understood, she was no longer the only one inside. Suddenly, the boy reappeared. The same child who'd warned her before. You asked to see what others couldn't, he said calmly. Now you'll see it forever. I didn't want this, she gasped. I didn't understand. No one ever does, he replied. That's why they choose the curious ones. Behind him, the spirits gathered. Silent. Watching. Waiting. 97 still unseen. Still hungry. She was their bridge now, their vessel. Lina stepped back, trembling. Is there no way to undo it? The boy looked up at her, eyes impossibly old. There is only one door out, he said. But once you know it exists, you can never close it again. He raised a finger and pointed, to the camera hanging around her neck. It had recorded nothing before. But now, the lens glowed faintly. Pulsing. Alive. Lina lifted it with shaking hands. And then, as if compelled by something no longer her own, she pressed record. From that day forward, no one saw Lina again. But a month later, a video surfaced online, grainy, flickering, barely a minute long. In it, a woman stands in a clearing, surrounded by shadows. She looks into the camera, eyes vacant. She smiles once. Then the footage cuts to black. At the bottom of the screen, in red text, one phrase appears. Do you wish to know more?